Today we're talking about autumn hygge, and very timely because my hair is perfectly windblown, which is one of the benefits of autumn. Now, obviously, not everyone watching this one may live in the northern hemisphere, and also how autumn feels and looks is going to be very different depending on where you live. But you can still apply a lot of this, to no matter where you live, because I want to give you some key ideas more than anything. I don't believe that we should just blindly go and copy someone else's tradition. Why? It has to have meaning to you. So it's about finding what is meaningful for you and then create maybe your own little traditions, something that can help you enjoy and appreciate and obviously really get the most out of the season. So, why am I talking about this? Well, autumn can be sometimes, a difficult time for some people. I've encountered it a lot when I've lived across the world as I have, that it's like, oh, there's talk about, oh, now summer is over and it goes into autumn. And I think in Scandinavia there is that same kind of melancholic feeling, obviously, that when you have to leave a lot of the daylight hours behind, and instead going into the darker times, where some parts of Scandinavia, in winter the sun never rises, so it is literally dark all the time. um, but I think there is an immense beauty to be found when we actually embrace the season and the nature around us. And it doesn't matter where you live and whether the changes are small, because the fact that you are being mindful of them and that you're noticing them is also a really, really important step. And why? Well, we often get caught up in our own heads. In this day and age, it's so easy to kind of live literally here, and it's obviously ironic because I'm giving this talk on social media. You're watching it on social media. You're watching it on a screen. So again, it's like talking heads going into talking heads, but we are so much more than our heads and our brains, even though some people would like to think that our brain is like everything, but it's not. We are a full holistic human being. We've got a body as well. And if we take the time to kind of connect in with our different senses as well in our body, it gives us the opportunity to drop out of that headspace where often we get caught in thought patterns, we get caught in maybe negative thinking, we spend a lot of time worrying, mulling over things, going over things that took place already, or thinking about things that might be happening. And we forget to kind of live in the here and now. But the seasons changing, so being mindful of that and trying to make it real and tangible for you can be a really great way to gain that bit more of quality of life. And even if it's with a bit of sadness that you don't really like autumn, maybe some of my suggestions will help you to kind of really enjoy at least some parts of it. So the like I said, the autumn hygge, it can be many, many different things. Obviously, a lot of people associate hygge still with like the stereotypical cozy socks and roaring fires, and there is definitely a place for some of that in the autumn as well. But don't forget, hygge is much more a mindset and feeling. It's not about the aesthetics. It's not about how things look. It's how that look makes you feel. So hence the importance of drawing in many different aspects of nature is a really beautiful time of year. And also because we are nature. So by connecting back to nature, we are connecting back to our true self. And we go in seasons as well, just as nature. And we have to appreciate all of those elements as well. And by bringing nature in, we can still connect with it, even though the weather might not necessarily be for you wanting to be outside. Although obviously in Scandinavia we say there is no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong type of clothing. There is obviously something to be said about not going out in a hurricane or a big snowstorm, but generally, it's autumn is a beautiful time of year to go outside and feel the changes in nature. And I asked my 7-year-old son the other day what he liked the most about autumn, and his answer absolutely blew me away. And because he took a pause and then he said, after, what I really love, Mummy, is that after the heat of summer, we can breathe again. The mornings are fresh, but there's still enough warmth so that you can enjoy being outside. And I thought that's a very clever and well thought of answer for a 7-year-old. I am obviously slightly partial here, but it's that thing of that it's the cooler mornings, it's the crisper air, depending on where you live, and the fact that it's hopefully still nice enough to be outside. Whereas when it gets into the really dark bits of autumn and going into winter, there might be even less opportunities for being outside. So it's about embracing that. So in I'm going to come up with some ideas for you, some really practical ways of creating more autumn hygge for yourself and your loved ones, whatever that might look like. But it might be worth for you to kind of contemplate on this a bit. Like what positives do you enjoy about this season? And you don't have to write masses about it. You could jot down 2 things. You could jot down a sentence. You can make a little bullet point list. Or you can just think about it whilst having a nice cup of tea, for example, or whatever your favorite hot beverage is. Hot because it's getting colder, but not necessarily. Might be something else. And just take that time to consider what about this season appeals to you the most. And then it's really pulling on those aspects to help you create your own traditions, for you to create your moments of hygge, where you can fully relax and enjoy and be fully present in the moment, in the here and now. A luxury, actually, I think that so many people have forgotten this day and age. So treat yourself on that account and think of maybe that autumn hygge moment as your own personal zen, as the bits that will rejuvenate you, nurture your soul, and make you feel happy, give you some energy, because obviously the sunlight now is fading. So again, depending on where you live, it might be that you really feel it in your energy levels as well. So here's my list of really nice autumn hygge things, and these are things that I like, that because we do them in our family, or also that I know that other people like and that they might be doing. So some of these might appeal to you, some of you might absolutely make no sense whatsoever. So take what you like and leave the rest. So I've already spoken about nature. So going out into nature and enjoying what is still there and what is available to you. And again, it's going to look different depending on where you live in the world. So it can be as simple as going for a walk. And I personally like being able to put on boots and a scarf and head out. And as I already mentioned, that fresh breeze, maybe the fresher air, the crisper air, the maybe slightly cooler temperatures that give you red cheeks. And if you've got smaller children in your life, then it might be a great opportunity to maybe do a bit of a scavenger hunt. We love going around and seeing what we can find. And again, that's going to link into one of the other things I'm going to mention. Or maybe you just taking your pet out. Maybe you are borrowing your neighbor's pet to take out for a walk, or maybe you're meeting up with a friend. Maybe you're going on your own, and just really remember to, I won't say leave your phone at home because I do like taking nice pictures, but try not try to have your eyes open and try to have your heart open as you venture out and use your senses, your sense of hearing, your sense of smell, your sense of vision, your sense of touch, and make it an all sensory experience, which it should be anyway. So going outside and enjoy it. And obviously, when we're out and about, it's also a really beautiful time to kind of pick up little things that we can take home, if allowed to kind of help decorate our home with beautiful autumny stuff. And obviously only when allowed, but it can be as simple as picking up some beautiful conkers, some pine cones, maybe some pretty leaves. And all of this can be used to make like an autumn centerpiece in your house, or it can be very informal. You can just have it like I have a little thing in my hallway, which is like a seasonal display kind of thing, and it's established itself very organically because my son always takes things in, and so do I. So we collect things and they get put there, and it becomes a little pretty place for autumny things at the moment. And it's a really lovely way of bringing nature in. But obviously, you could get fancy about it as well, and you could make like a proper centerpiece. You could decorate somewhere special in your living room, or you can have like them scattered around, whatever works for you. So with the leaves also, you can create beautiful art. You can, I've already in my Facebook group, Happiness, Health and Hygge, shown you guys some pictures on how that can be used to, like make pictures. You can decorate lamps. You can do all sorts of things if you obviously press the leaves first, or you can put little strings on them as well once they're pressed and hang them onto your centerpiece. So you can literally have autumn inside as well. Leaf art, that's how I put it down here. Again, if you're out and about, especially with small kids, jumping in piles of leaf, I mean, I love it. I've got a very practical husband who always goes like, oh, there might be all sorts of things in that pile of leaf that you don't know about. So obviously be sensible, but it's the beauty of this season, and the things that you only get this time of year, like the crunching of the leaves, the sound of the leaves as they are playing across the pavement, chasing each other. Those are the moments to really treasure and enjoy, especially if the trees have still got leaves on them, because then it seems like there's an abundance of it still. Other things to do, making the most of the seasonal fruits. So again, this is dependent on where you live, but there's many apple varieties, for example, that are coming into season now. So you could go and you could pick your own if you haven't already got your own apple tree on your doorstep. It's a beautiful way to kind of feel again that connection to nature, going out to pick some apples, whether you want to eat them like they are, or make maybe like a hot dessert or something like apple crumble, and really enjoying the flavors when they're at the best. So eating seasonal is a really beautiful way, and also a healthy way for us to kind of connect with nature and getting the most out of the nutrients that are in the season right now. And obviously, I'm going to do another talk about Halloween, but all the beautiful pumpkins and things like that as well. It's the perfect time to go and harvest them or marvel at them if you don't really want to start making pumpkin cakes, pumpkin soup, and all the other delicious things that you can do. But making again the most of the in-seasonal fruit and vegetables that are about. So that brings me into the kitchen. So if we remember to eat in season, and it's very easy to forget because you go to a supermarket and you can get everything all year round. But if we remember to take time to consider what's in season, maybe look at the packaging, see what is locally grown, what hasn't got lots of air miles on it, and what is actually in season, then it can also really change the way we eat. and it can change the way we use our kitchens. So I don't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen in the summer because I like to eat things that are very easy to make and that doesn't prepare or require lots of um, hot ovens and things like that, because there's so much heat in the house anyway. And then when the autumn comes, it's a lovely. I love going into the kitchen and using the the things that are in season and making things that are maybe a tiny bit more hearty as well. So whether that's like a nice soup made with I said pumpkins before, or any other varieties like that. It could also be like a potato and leek soup, for example, with some homemade bread. Or maybe you are more into the desserts and you would rather try and make something like a blackberry and apple crumble. I have just made a very delicious beetroot chocolate cake that hasn't got any sugar in it. Um, but has got lots of deliciously freshly harvested beetroot from my allotment. So little things like that, because when the weather turns colder, it's sometimes nice to have some of these things, especially after your long walk where you've taken everything in and you get to go inside, you get to cozy up, maybe have a nice cup of hot tea or a coffee, and then a little bit of slice of something that you've maybe made. So, really enjoying again that aspect of the season that might mean that you start eating differently, you start cooking differently, and we definitely start using our homes differently in autumn as well. So, autumn is really where we start entering into what I call the Hygge high season, where we can start bringing the candles out again. And even if you're not a candle person, I don't know if you would not be a candle person and watch this, but if you're not, you don't have to, but you can have those little pools of extra light in your home now that the sunlight is not quite so strong. And it gives that lovely hygge feeling. It gives that feeling of being all warm and comfortable, and there's just enough light to see, but the light is not so sharp that it kind of plays havoc with your eyesight. Sometimes in the summer it can be so bright that we just kind of want to close the curtains, and now it's kind of the opposite, making the most of that sunlight, making sure the curtains are wide drawn up aside, but maybe still have some extra pools of light in the darker corners in the room so that we can feel that little glow. It's the glow from the candles and the light, but it's also, I believe, kind of the glow of feeling comfortable and wrapped up warm, and very much grateful as well that we are in our homes and we have got the luxury to do this. We have got hopefully enough warmth, and otherwise, hopefully, you've got a blanket and you've got a roof over your house. So, being grateful for our homes and also adding a bit of appreciation into the home by making sure that we have that extra little glow, and maybe those little autumn paraphernalia, those little decorations that we've picked up. And that brings us not only into the here and now, but hopefully also connects us to a really happy moment, that walk that we just had. Oh my, I've got so much more on my list, and I've realized I've already talked to you for about 20 minutes. So, um, other things that's really lovely to do is kind of spend more time with either with yourself or with your loved ones inside, because, like I said, we use our home slightly different now. So making sure that that is that there's time for that, that it's not kind of getting pushed aside, but that we, just as nature is kind of slowing down now. And again, it might not slow down so much where you live, but if you live quite far to the poles, then you will notice that it's really slowing down. It's like the pace of life is slowing down, and it is because we're entering into hibernation season. So it's absolutely fine to slow down as well. Yes, we still have work, we still have family life, we still have commitments, but it's the perfect time now to kind of slow down and find those little hygge moments. And it can center around whatever you like. Maybe you want to, like read a book. Maybe you want to journal about your favorite things about autumn. Or maybe you want to make plans on how you can make the most out of the autumn weather and the things that you like about this season, either on your own or with some loved ones. So there you have it. Hopefully, lots and lots of autumn hygge ideas to get you started. Pick your own. I promised myself I wouldn't talk over 20 minutes. I'm going to keep it nice and short. And obviously, there's loads more to add to this, and it really depends on you and your circumstances and where you live. But these are the basics. So go on and make it your own, and make sure that you also allow yourself that time for that hygge. And hygge, if anything, is about being in the moment, being present and aware of what's in the moment. And that is very much also allowing yourself the time and space to do that, and then allowing yourself for it to be a full sensory experience that incorporates nature and your surroundings, all your feelings, and with a bit of luck, some lovely people or animals that are dear to your heart. Having said that, I hope you have a very hyggelig autumn indeed.